This is the Football Show. Just 2 games left before England head coach Thomas Tuchel takes charge of the team from Lee Carsley. Let's go live to St George's Park. Our senior reporter, Rob Dorsett, is watching them train for Thursday's Nations League game away to Greece. Very good morning to you, Rob. I mean, this is a very different squad to the one Lee Carsley named last week, isn't it?
It is. 8 withdrawals, some big name withdrawals as well. And so, yeah, it is a very different looking England squad, different from Lee Carsley's plans, but I think largely inevitable at this time in the season as well, that you get these sort of withdrawals. And Carsley was planning for that. That's why he's called up 4 replacements, but he's still got a squad of 23. There are 23 players out there now. And in actual fact, there's another change as well, because Jared Branthwaite, who was only called up to the squad yesterday, is carrying out his own training programme indoors. He's not out here on the grass. Don't know whether there's any particular injury concern for him or whether it's just a loading issue. But Jarrell Quansah, the Liverpool centre-back who was with the under-21s, has been called up in his place just for this training session. Not called up to the senior squad as a whole, but just to make up the numbers in this training session. So a nice moment for him. But yeah, those 8 withdrawals are big names. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Bukayo Saka, Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Declan Rice, Levi Colwill, Aaron Ramsdale. Some really big omissions, you have to say, from Lee Carsley's perspective and from an England perspective, when really they're looking to win both of these games against Greece and the Republic of Ireland to try and ensure promotion back into Group A of the Nations League, which is important for England. Bear in mind, Kobbie Mainoo and John Stones were already ruled out because of injury as well. There's a couple of other big names there. But when we talk about the lack of players here, boy, there's some big names here as well. Jude Bellingham is here with his hat on, right at the back on that right-hand side. You can see him. And, you know, he scored his first goal of the season and got an assist against Osasuna in the 4-0 win for Real Madrid at the weekend. And he's still one of the very best players in the world and sure to be one of the first names on Carsley's team sheet. A key element of England going forward, Jude Bellingham, you have to say. There's Jarrell Quansah, look, just alongside him, who we just mentioned. But from Bellingham's point of view, you think Thomas Tuchel will have to try and build a big and important relationship with Jude Bellingham when he takes over. He's such a big character, such a big influence in the dressing room and over all of these players now. Tuchel will absolutely want him on side and buying into the way he wants to play. And there's another rather large name here as well, because he's right in front of us, Harry Kane, the England captain. Now, he is in explosive form again for Bayern Munich this season, just on the left-hand side here. 11 goals and 7 assists in 10 games for Bayern Munich so far this season. That is absolutely extraordinary. We almost don't make a big deal about it anymore when Harry Kane's in town, but he is the goal scorer supreme, and it's a privilege every time you get to see him out on a training pitch here with England. Thomas Tuchel has said, by the way, he hasn't decided who his England captain will be yet when he takes over on January the 1st. I think you have to say it's hard to think he would consider taking the captaincy off Kane, such as his popularity and influence on this squad. He's so important, not just with those goals and assists, but also with the standards that he sets right across the board. So, yeah, some big absentees, but, Rob, some big names here as well.
Certainly are. But, Rob, it's hard to avoid thinking this different squad is because it's Carsley and not Thomas Tuchel, or is that unfair?
It's a natural assumption to make, isn't it? But I think that is a little bit unfair, in truth, because all of these players that are out there now and the ones that are absent are desperate to be part of this England squad still. They know there is a new England manager in place, a big-name England manager, a manager who has won huge trophies and who is taking over on January the 1st. And even though we know Thomas Tuchel will not be a part of this training camp at all, he's not been involved in the squad selection, he's not been involved in the selection, he won't be at either game, he will be watching from home, and the England players will know that absolutely. So for Lee Carsley, though, the man you're looking at there alongside Ashley Cole and Jolyon Lescott as well, his backroom staff, it's going to be quite a special moment for him. Maybe he can enjoy it a little bit now that all of the pressure and of discussion about who the next England manager will be, and is it going to be Carsley, is it not? When all of that's gone, I wonder if he can maybe relax and enjoy it a little bit more. It's been a very eventful tenure in charge of the senior team, hasn't it? Won 3, lost 1. That 2-1 home defeat to Greece last month was a big blow to Carsley and to England's hopes of gaining promotion back to Nations League Group A, you have to say. They're now 3 points behind Greece with a goal difference that's 3 goals worse, but they can still top the group. And it's a must-win game. They have to go to Greece and win on Thursday, which makes it a really big game, I think you have to say. A second-place finish would put England into a promotion playoff. They'd face one of the League A sides who's finished third in their group. That could be a very tough game. And they want to avoid that absolutely desperately. So, yeah, a really interesting time for Lee Carsley and for the players that are out in front of us.
OK, so let's talk about... We've talked about who has withdrawn from this camp. So tell us about those who this now provides a great opportunity for.
Oh, absolutely right. And those 4 new players that were called up yesterday, I suppose the biggest name, the biggest headline is Morgan Rogers, who's just making his way over the poles there to the back. First time we've ever seen him out here training at St George's Park as part of the senior team. Look, this has been coming for some time. Gareth Southgate made it clear he was monitoring his progress. He was named in the under-21 squad for this international break. He's now been promoted to the seniors, but he's been so impressive for Aston Villa this season, hasn't he? And indeed, last season, I think you have to say, he's moved on to an even more impressive level. And he's become an important part of Unai Emery's Villa squad. He's played every Premier League and Champions League game so far this season. And so this feels like a natural progression for him, you have to say. He's represented his country at every age group from under-15s right through to under-21s. So again, he's been in the journey. He's been part of the setup. So a big moment for him, and a big moment for Harwood Bellis as well, who, by the way, will be speaking to us live in the news conference later on today. Harwood Bellis just running across there. Good spot by Dan on our camera. Captain of Lee Carsley's under-21s. This is his first senior call-up, and I think a great moment for him training alongside England's elite players here. Came through the Manchester City Academy, had lots of loans, including at Southampton last season before that was made permanent. And he's had a pretty torrid season, in truth, with Southampton. A number of goals they've been conceding. 21 goals conceded in 11 Premier League games. But even in that sort of scenario, Harwood Bellis has really impressed. His composure on the ball, his strength, his in the challenge, his positional sense is second to none. So he will be hoping he gets to make his England debut in this camp. Branthwaite, as I said, the other centre-back is training indoors. But let's have a quick chat about the 2 Newcastle fullbacks that are here as well, because Tino Livramento is right in front of us with his back to us, just a couple of metres away from us. It's his birthday today. That's a nice moment for him, isn't it? Celebrating your birthday while you're on international duty. 3rd senior call-up. Just as in the last international break, he was left out of Lee Carsley's final squad, senior squad, but then earned a late promotion from the under-21s. Exactly the same thing has happened again here. Again, he'll be hoping to make his senior debut. A man who we knew was going to be in this setup all along was Lewis Hall, the other Newcastle fullback on the left-hand side. His first senior call-up for Lewis Hall. And a big chance to nail down that left-back spot, because we know that left-back has been a real problem position for England, and Lewis Hall, in the middle of your picture there, will fancy his chances. He's featured in all 10 of Newcastle's Premier League games this season, and Carsley has praised his consistency and the quality of his left foot. So, yeah, lots of opportunities for these players, and the first time we've seen them out there training with this senior team in many of their cases. It's a big moment for them, Rob.